What's up, y'all? Yes, we're back at it. Another episode of On This Journey. I'm sitting here with somebody I think that's very special, man, to the city. You know what I mean? I think in every city there's people that's like that do major things, but like you don't hear about them. You know what I mean? They just like, they just push the culture in a major way. They do major moves, and if you know them, you know them. I happen to know one of them, and here it is. His name is Thriller. You know what I'm saying? I mean, his name is Nathan. You might know him as Thriller in the city. You know what I mean? So, welcome to On This Journey, man. What's up? How you feeling, my brother?
Thank you for having me, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. So yeah, I just want to get into it, man. Just like a quick introduction into like, you know what I'm saying, who you are, and like, you know what I'm saying, how you've been putting on to the city, and like, just a quick intro and let them know like who you are, what you do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I go by Thriller. Everybody knows me as that.
Yeah.
Also, I have a company, Cap City Hip Hop.
Okay.
I've been running that for 12 years.
Yeah.
I'm putting on for Ottawa Hip Hop, Ottawa Entertainment, breaking artists, breaking news.
Okay. What is that like, Cap City like?
Cap City is basically,
for the people that don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's Ottawa's first, hip hop website and entertainment website.
Yeah.
We've been putting on news, showcasing local artists, showcasing local concerts, breaking artists, breaking news. It's kind of Ottawa's hub for hip hop, you know what I mean? Somewhere where you can go to a platform that you can go to and see what's going on in the city.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, man, so like you started that with friends or like by yourself?
So I created, I came up with the concept, I came up with the name and everything like that. It was Cap City Hip Hop when it was launched back in 2012.
Yeah.
We've, went through, obviously a few, different rebrandings over the years. As it's, now hit in 2024, last year I'd want to, rebrand it a little bit further. So we're relaunching the website. And instead of, keeping the same name, Cap City Hip Hop, which was short form for Capital City.
Yeah.
Why we created it 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And, the word Cap City, Cap, wasn't a thing 12 years ago, how it is now. So, I want to do a little bit of rebrand and actually spell out the word. So we changed, the name of the company just slightly, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
The Capital City Hip Hop.
Okay.
Just to fully spell out the word now.
Okay.
So just to, give it a little bit more ring and, a little bit more notable ring for the city, So.
That's dope, man. Like for the people that don't know, like, that don't follow the scene, like in Ottawa, you know what I mean? But I happen to know and been around to see like what you've been doing, So you've been on radio as well too, right?
Yes, I was also a radio host back in 2016.
Okay.
Up until 2019.
Wow.
Alongside DJ Alive, we ran the BRL show.
Okay.
BRL stands for Beats, Rhymes, and Life.
Yeah.
It was every Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. We had the traffic hour right at the hot spot, everyone getting off work, traffic jam on the highway, so a lot of people were tuned in over the years. We made an impact in the city, breaking records, interviewing artists, community events, stuff like that. So yeah, it was definitely a great experience for myself, a great way to get my foot in the door, meeting a lot of local artists, meeting a lot of people behind the scene in the radio industry. And
that's dope, man. So like you've been in the scene and like doing different things, like you know what I mean,
yeah,
and like pushing the culture in many different ways, right?
Yes.
And that's really what I want to like accentuate on, man. Like, so what is like your mission? Like, you know what I'm saying? You're just like one of the kids like you, like me, that just love hip hop, and like you just grew up, you just grew up in it, So it's 100%. Just like you stuck with it, you know what I mean? And now you're just like. You know what I mean? Pushing it your way, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I feel like I've always been, like, tied to music in some way. Like, growing up, like, my family was always involved in music. My brother is a drummer, with Bingy Barker. Everybody knows Bingy Barker. He's, like, a legendary reggae singer and part of, I forget the name of the band, either Cut Diamond or... I forget the name of the band, but they're legendary, reggae artists in Ottawa. My brother, was a part of the band from the 80s, and me growing up in the 90s and the 2000s, as a kid, going to concerts and going to his bands and rehearsals and stuff like that. Obviously kept me, musically inclined. Obviously, my mom too was big into music and listening to a lot of reggae and dancehall and stuff every Saturday, as Ottawa had reggae in the fields and. Junior on CKCU, so we had a few stations. So growing up, that's where I got like a lot of musical influences. Plus, I was lucky enough to own a satellite growing up, so I was able to have BET You know,
Okay.
when it was on
Richie
the
Rich.
when it was on the early channels, I was just, you know, my dad was, you know, into computers and stuff like that. So
That's dope.
he was like, you know, able to like get his hands on a satellite early on in the day. But yeah, man, I feel like
we had to bang on the TV, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Play with it, with, you know, the
100%,
hangers and stuff like that.
100%. Yeah, we still had to turn the satellite just to like get that frequency.
Yeah, for
But,
sure.
you know, things change, obviously, you know, as you know, technology changed, things evolved. Obviously, same with, you know, TV and music and everything like that. But yeah, that's kind of where it's at right there.
Okay. So like, I'm just gonna fast forward real quick. You know what I mean? From like, you know, what you've been doing in the city. You know what I mean, and everything that you've been doing, like in terms of like pushing the culture. You know.
Yes,
so let's fast forward. Boom. So now we see you with like Pressa. You know what I mean? And you're traveling. You're doing shows with him, and this is when he's just coming out, man.
Yes.
So how did that come about?
So it's funny actually. It's the last year of my radio show. So 2019 is when you know, Pressa was, you know, basically inclining in his career. You know what I mean? Like he was gaining a lot of buzz and stuff like that. And
he had that single out.
Yeah, he had a single out, and before that, you know, probably I think it was around 2016 he dropped. Deb I might be wrong in the day. I believe it was 2016, but yeah, he dropped Deb Miana, and the videographer that was shooting the music video, me and him had ties from back in the day.
Okay.
Through like Sazy and other Toronto rappers that were doing the thing out in the city, and you know, used to come to Ottawa and so on and so on. So long story short, you know, he basically hit me up, said he had like, you know, inside of an artist that he's working with. He thinks the record's a hot record. The video's gonna be a hot video. You know, the kids from Jane and Finch, you know, everybody knows about Jane and Finch being a notable area in Toronto from years and years beforehand. So just at that time, I was writing for Hip Hop Canada. I was Ottawa's rep. And, you know, he's like, yo, it might be an amazing story. So I wrote an article on Deb Miana, one of Pressa's songs. From there, Pressa and his team and his brother, you know, liked my writing skills and liked, you know, how I was you know, basically jumped on him right away type thing. Yeah. And, you know, we, you know, jumped on a few calls, and, you know, we ended up, you know, they ended up getting me out to Toronto. We ended up getting into a few studio sessions and just sitting down and just, you know, building a game plan type of thing. And, you know, we officially got me on the label with Blue Feather Records. I was officially working with Pressa, part of the management team, not as official manager, but part of the management team. Yeah. There was a few other players on the team, and shout out to them. And from there, we just made history, man. You know, from Drake tours to Canada Goose record with Tory Lanez going platinum. Obviously, you guys see the plaque. Yeah. You know, we got gold for you know, Little Uzi Vert, 420 in London. Yeah. And so on and so on. The list continues. You know what I mean? And obviously now you've seen Pressa's career take off and skyrocket, to him signing with Sony. You know, he's dating Coi Leray for that little stint that he had there. And, you know, just putting out, you know, a lot of amazing features and music, man, with Friday. And, you know, he just dropped a new single, I believe, you know, just recently called Jungle. But, you know, he's doing his thing worldwide. He's doing his thing, 100%.
You know, he's definitely like officially crossed the border 100%. And like, you know, doing his thing out there.
And I feel like I played a good role in the developing stages of his career. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know,
I think you're the right guy for that, man. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real.
I feel like the last little bit of my career, I've you know, been that guy and that, you know, to help with the developing stages. But now as I'm getting older, I don't want to be stuck on just developing artists. You know what I mean? I want to be more hands-on, you know, maybe possibly with developing developed artists, now showing them what I can do from, you know, developing artists. You know what I mean? So, you know, even with touring and stuff like that, just like you mentioned, you know, we went on a few tours. We did 2 tours with Pressa across Canada, the Canada Goose tour. And then, you know, we just did another, you know, one-off tour that just, you know, hit a few different cities to promote his projects, you know, back in the day. But, you know, that relationship ended, you know, I think around 2020, just around COVID.
COVID ended a lot of things.
Yeah, COVID ended a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? So I ended up coming back to Ottawa. I was, you know, frequently back from Toronto and Vancouver when I was working with Pressa. Okay. And then, you know, I had to come back to Ottawa. I had my mom here and stuff like that, RIP. But, you know what I mean? Like,
RIP your moms, man, for real.
Yeah, RIP. But, you know, at the time, too, I was also, looking to scout other artists just to see what's out there. We obviously wanted to work with someone from the city.
Yeah. Okay, stop right there. I gotta stop you right there. Hold on, man. Hold on, man. Come on, man. So okay, boom. Fast forward from Pressa, boom, and now you're working with this kid. We see you working with this kid 2 times, right?
Yes, yeah.
From the west side of the city.
Yeah, he's from the west end.
He's from the west end of the city. So, boom, now we see 2 Time putting out, you know what I mean, dope singles online, repping for the city.
Yeah.
And it's looking like you the man behind it. You know what I mean? Or like you're part of the team, or part of his development.
Yeah.
Kind of like how we seen you with Press or whatever.
Yeah, 100%.
So now I'm watching this, and being like, okay, so this kid got high hopes if he's working with you because you ran through the ropes already.
Yeah.
So fast forward to that, boom, he gets signed to Polo G.
Yes.
So tell us about that, man.
So, it wasn't just like an overnight thing, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, I've been working with 2 Time for the last 5 years now. This is my 5th year. And it took a few years of development. It took
5 years already. That's amazing.
Yes. Time flies, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we've accomplished a lot in the 5 years from, a distribution deal with World Star Hip Hop that kind of got him more on the American market. You know what I mean? We did a 2-track distribution deal where myself and Z and Sean, we all comprised as a team and locked that down. And then, just from there, like we all played different roles. You know what I mean? Shout out to Ziad, Big Z, and shout out to Sean Frost. But we all played different roles in the management role.
That's what it takes. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's.
But
a lot of times, like that could make you or break you, man.
100%.
Your team and the roles they're playing in,
100%.
is everybody's on the same frequency and understand what they got to do to push the product. You know what I mean? So.
And I felt like when I met 2 Time, it had to go that route. I don't feel like I would have been able to do it by myself.
Of course.
Having some childhood friends to be able to grow with, and to have fun, live the dream, especially make money. Is something that
100%.
You really want to
100%. That's definitely like a gold medal for the city, man. When I saw that, I was like, man, there we go.
Yeah.
Like it's like I feel like you creating the bridge already. Not only that, you becoming the bridge. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like so.
But you also can never just forget the artist, right? 2 Time is a really talented
individual
artist.
100%.
From writing
100%.
to singing to performing. You know what I mean? To even dancing. He has the looks. He has a persona. You know what I mean? So everything kind of worked out in a full circle favor. You know what I mean? Up until things.
Yeah.
Up until the deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%.
Now that he's with a major label, things are just trying to get more solidified in the sense of putting out the right EP, putting out the right project. So he's doing his thing. You know what I mean? So.
And it's also like tricky too. I feel like when you're an artist coming from Canada and you're breaking into the US, because it's almost like we're working with 2 different markets.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like
there's pros and cons.
There's pros and cons.
100%.
Like the same way you pushing the product in the US might not be the same way you push it over here because people receive things differently.
But you got to remember that Canada is our home market, right?
Yeah.
So we have a lot of love and a lot of networks and a lot of relationships here versus the States.
Of course.
Where we're not there every day. We're not there all the time.
That's what I'm saying.
And people don't really see, our engagement over there, how they do in Canada, right? So it's basically, there's pros and cons to both.
But I think it's great too because it kind of creates a window where people could see, you know what I mean, how the artists do it, how we do it out
100%.
here. You see how you linked up with Pressa and stuff like that. It's from a whole other city.
100%.
Boom, linked up with you. You know what I'm saying? You're from OT, so, but you guys got to link up, make money together, make moves together.
Yeah.
I love it, man, because people forget this is happening too right here. You know what I'm saying? It's not just across the border.
I feel like I self-taught myself, the PR type of route. When I was working with Pressa, I sat there and I thought, I'm like, how am I going to get him promoted to the world, not just Canada, because I work for Hip Hop Canada. I know Toronto rappers. I know this website and this website and this guy, just from relationships and building networks from prior years. You know what I mean? And rolling with Lower Town Bills and stuff like that from back in the day. You know what I mean? Shout out Bills. But at the end of the day, it's building the relationships is, the number one key, and networking is the number one key. And, breaking Pressa into America, breaking 2 Time into America, you need to have a publicist, or you need to teach yourself how to be a publicist or handle the PR behind these artists. And that's something that I did on my own. You know what I mean? So I learned to write bios, I learned to write press releases, and then I learned, to how to pitch those press releases to get, his music, Press's music, 2Times Music, in XXL, in Complex, get them these interviews and get them, this.
Like you wrote those things on your own.
Yeah, I wrote these things on my own, honestly. Obviously with the help with the artist, I sit down with the artist,
of course.
They give me the information, but I professionally lay it out so it's pitched correctly, with the assets and something that more artists need to pick up on. Get your press releases on, man, and send them out, man. Writers aren't really reaching out like that. Blogs aren't really reaching out like that. Get your press releases in order. Connect with a marketer, connect with a publicist. Have them, whip something up, even if it's small. That's the best way to pitch your music. It's 2024. You got to switch it up. But anyways,
that's amazing, man. That's an amazing jewel right there, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's been something that's been set in stone for a long time. It's just a lot of artists don't either know or they don't don't know how to create one, or it's hard to follow.
I feel like a lot of artists too, like a lot of artists are young too. You know what I mean? So
100%.
Man, they don't even start thinking about all the aspect. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
Music
They just
like
wanna
that.
release,
they just go in. They just hit the studio, release the hottest stuff.
Studio and release the music and persona for social.
And no guidance. You know what I mean?
There's 100 other things behind that.
Exactly.
From marketing down
100%.
to pitching yourself to so on and so on. So
100%.
There's strategy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From being in the industry for so long, I've kind of built a strategy now. You know what I mean? And I kind of.
So you could you could definitely take an artist from the city or from any city and kind of give him guidance to kind of get his foot in the door.
For sure, I can, but not everybody's gonna, get a major deal.
Of course, 100%.
Not everybody's gonna get what Pressa 2Time did, or Belly did, or Night Lavelle did. You know what I mean? Every artist is different, and that's the kind of way I work with artists. You know what I mean? On the sides, I've been working with Shubs. You know what I mean? He's another, Indian, Pakistani artist that's on the come up in Ottawa.
Okay.
More like releasing, kind of American type music. He's not releasing really cultural type music as of yet.
I think somebody, sorry to interrupt you, I think somebody told me about him. So I heard his name before.
He's releasing really great music, high quality videos. You know what I mean? It's 2024 now where, you have a lot more platforms like TikTok to be more as a creative and express yourself, with your music and stuff like that.
100%.
With the reels and with all that stuff now. So, you know what I mean? He's a really good artist that's a, great example for the hustle and for, wanting it and, not being with a major, not being with a big distributionist or not receiving editorial playlists that really helps Canadian artists, you know what I mean? Boost their songs on these streaming platforms, right?
Yeah.
So, the scene's always changing, especially
100%,
with my foot.
100%, especially with technology as well, too, as you mentioned, So, I just want to see if you could give any advice to any kid that's hey, you know what? I think I'm ready. I think I got the tracks. Yeah. Are they able to hit you up? Do you have an email?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you have you know what I mean?
Artists hit me up all the time. You know what I mean? I tell them, reach out to me, DM me on, real little.
On your Instagram?
Yeah, DM me on Instagram. You know what I mean? I don't like shouting out numbers and emails like that. Yeah. But they can DM me on Instagram or, Capital City Hip Hop, and ask to, speak to Thriller, ask to speak to me, and we can get it chopping from there. You know what I mean?
That's great.
I jump on calls or, I do, email conversations with, artists, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, it's it's all about them just, put down the pride a little bit. You know what I mean? A lot of the artists, they have super high pride where, they feel that it's their way or the highway.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it doesn't really work like that when you're dealing with somebody that has more experience than you. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, you got to drop your pride to be able to deal with somebody that has more experience than me. I'm not going to sit here and question and bother the cameraman behind the scenes because that's his job.
Yeah,
he's experienced in that.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So that's all it comes down to. You know what I mean? Word of advice. I love to see artists, especially in Ottawa and in Canada, work together, support each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt you to show a like or show something in the comment. You're not hindering.
I can't front. That lacks a lot.
You're not hindering your career or your music because you're showing another artist, love on his social media or to his music. You know what I mean? And to the OGs like myself and yourself, you know what I mean? You know, coming together more. You know what I mean? Coming, supporting each other's events, communities.
100%.
You know, figuring out a way where we can keep, you know, the money in between our pockets and not being, you know,
always going out.
Going out or going in, you know, to somewhere else, you know, big corporations and 100%. Stuff. And us little guys, what, you know, I mean, we're all not little, but you know, I mean, us little guys, as the corporate guys call us, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Aren't chasing those big bags. And if you look in the States, you know what I mean? A lot of these production companies, media companies are partnering with AudioMac, are partnering with SoundCloud, Spotify, so on and so on, receiving big to large amounts of money to help their brands and to help projects. And that's something that we need in Ottawa and we need more throughout Canada. I know Toronto's big on the grants. I know a lot of artists are frequently big on there, but I feel like the power players in Ottawa that are able to make those things happen should be tapping into the community more, should be tapping into the businesses more, should be routing, you know, budgets to businesses, you know, that are, you know, able to provide and have been providing in the city. So,
100%.
You know, that's kind of like where I like to see, you know, things go. You know,
100%.
You know, I'm not going anywhere. Capital City Hip Hop's not going anywhere.
100%.
You know what I mean? So I'm always looking forward to see how the game changes, you know, within the year, the 2 years, or even the next 5-10 years. You know what I mean? Because we're always going to get older, but the kids are always going to come out as soon as they hit 16 and jump into the game and want to be a hip hop artist, or a blogger, cameraman, whatever you call it. So, you know, it's always interesting to see that.
Yeah, man. And that's what I respect a lot about you, man. It's like, you know, it really shows that, like, it's not where you're from. It's really what you're doing, where you're at. You know what I mean? And I have the same mindset, man. And that's part of the reason why I started this platform. That's what we're using. Like, I started a brand as well. That's kind of like, you know, that's tied into the city as well.
Yes.
So
you've been doing a really good job on that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, man. That's just allowed me to, like, you know, talk to a lot of people, rub a lot of shoulders, you know, open up doors, and really, you know, be able to spread a positive vibe, you know. So that's why, like, you know what I mean? That's why I appreciate you so much, man.
Yeah, man.
And all that you do for the city, you dig? You know what I mean? And not just for the city, you know, just for yourself and the ones you love and stuff like that. So we're gonna keep repping for the culture. You know, this is another episode, you know, of On This Journey. You know what I mean? Right here with my man Thriller.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, my boy. One love. You already know we're gonna keep doing what we do.